Get over here!
For this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitor fluxing. Crew to stations. Scanning for Mortal Kombat 1995. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
It has begun!
Indeed it has. Welcome, rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I'm your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the Master Fighter Interrupter Powers.
All right, let's dance.
Okay, Paul. Also, for this discussion of the film Mortal Kombat, we welcome back aboard. He's a wrestling fan and awesome geek, Josh Adams. Welcome back, Josh.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be back.
Awesome. Great to have you back. Now that you have a quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for Mortal Kombat?
The game? We already
The
did the game.
movie, Paul.
Oh, so glad you clarified. The video game, the movie came out on August 18th of 1995. The first movie, because
Yes.
there's been many subsequent.
Others, exactly.
Anyway, this particular movie that we're reviewing today runs an hour and 41 minutes. And it's rated PG-13. It was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, and it was written by Ed Boon, John Tobias, and Kevin Droney, with lead stars being Christopher Lambert, Robert Shou, or Shao, I don't know. Sorry, Robin. I said Robert,
Wow.
but you know. Anyway, Lyndon Ashby was also a star, and the music was composed by George S. Clinton.
Mhm.
One of the Clintons did this.
Whoa.
All right. You ready for the box office trivia game?
I'm ready, Josh. Are you ready?
Let's do this.
In chat,
All right.
join in.
Chat, here we go. Mortal Kombat, the movie, was made for $18 million and earned over $122 million at the box office.
Jeez. That's not bad at all.
Yeah. So given this and the fact that it was released theatrically in 1995, how high do you think it ranks among the other movies in 1995? Well, we'll keep it to the top 50.
Okay, of all the movies in 1995, what do you think, Josh?
That's a tough one because I was only like 4 when this came out, so I don't know a lot of the movies.
So if you were 5, you would have known. Okay.
If I was 5, I would have known. That's when you really, start noticing things.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go with, I don't know, 15.
15? Okay. For me, I'm going to guess, I feel like that's actually a pretty spot on guess. So I'm going to lower it to 16.
Oh, Price is right in me.
Exactly. And then in chat, Baba, of course, with 42 or 50. Ashley says 34. Laurence thinks the top 10. Well, you had to give us a specific out of what? Yeah, top 50.
All
Ashley.
top 10.
Dale says 15. Star Fox says 20. Yeah. Cellcast thinks 25. So we're all around the board here.
Wow.
All right. So it was all top 10. Okay, Lauren. So Paul, what was the
all wrong because it was 51.
what was the where did it land for the top 50
Who
movies?
said 25?
Well, it
That was
Cellcast.
Cellcast
Yes.
almost got it right on the head. It was 26, so we'll still give it to
Ooh,
him.
good job, Cellcast. Drew, I assume, not Jacob, but maybe, I don't know. But congrats. You win absolutely nothing. Which is
You
what
lose. Good day, sir.
Exactly. Anyway, thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we'll get into once Alice has located our target film.
Alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
You've been chosen to defend the realm of Earth in Mortal Kombat.
Prepare yourself for the ultimate battle between good and evil. Kombat.
Flawless victory.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, August 18th.
Starts Friday, August 18th.
I like that movie announcer voice.
Yes, I think that's Frank Delafonte. No, that's not right. It's one of the classic movie like trailer voices.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, that commercial definitely brings back some memories about Mortal Kombat. But to give you some context for the things we collectively remembered most before our rewatch, here's our memory mind melt synopsis for the film Mortal Kombat. Arnold's daughter from Last Action Hero teams up with a friend of the Beverly Hills Ninja. Oh my gosh. The biggest Hollywood movie star and the Highlander, because apparently there is more than one who has to fight for all of humanity. A handful of people in a leaky boat are going to save the world. Exactly. Lots of lines from the game. Highlander Raiden, Shang Tsung saying, "Finish him," and Johnny Cage punching Goro's nuttos. Liu Kang defeats Big Bad Dude, and the lightning dragon Shao Kahn coming out of a portal at the end set up the sequel. It has a great moment that is kind of ruined since the sequel was so bad.
Wah, wah.
Well, I feel like all of that, was there anything in there that wasn't right?
Yeah, it wasn't the biggest Hollywood movie star. It
Oh.
was just an action star.
Good point, Paul. Good point. So we have clearly been decepted. But based on those memories as clearly very flawed as they were, what rating did they lead us to predict before this film, before rewatching it? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? Josh, what was your prediction before you rewatched it?
My prediction was a very solid nostalgic.
Nostalgic. Awesome. Paul, how about you?
Same camp or same team.
Nostalgic.
Nostalgic.
I remember liking this movie and thinking it's probably been one of the best, if not the best, video game movie. So I actually predicted classic. I was hoping it would live up to that.
Well, you could be right, but I don't know
Could be.
about it being classic. It still could be the greatest video game and be
Oh,
like it's still tragic.
Definitely
Good.
one of.
Good point. Wow, way to set that bar high, Paul. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see if those predictions come true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about Mortal Kombat. Let's spin up our
Best 3.
top 3 things we liked about this film. Let's start with Josh. What's one thing you liked about Mortal Kombat?
Oh, one of the things I liked about this was all the fight choreography. All the
Yeah.
all the fights were really fun to watch, like high pace. At least for the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh
compared
yeah,
to-
no.
No, yeah.
Compared to movies now, it might not be as action oriented.
Well,
Does that make sense?
Sort of. What I liked is this was before like the whole shaky cam and you don't know what's going on. You know where
Yes.
like every punch and kick is going and you can follow the fight. So I appreciate that in this.
Very little like wire foo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
But
about
there's a little bit, but
yeah.
sure.
for the most part, they're all doing these moves legit.
Right.
Which is kind of,
Right.
I never thought about this, but you mentioned that, Josh. It's interesting how the game was trying to make you feel like you're playing actual people. And in this movie, it feels like everyone's real and doing moves that could conceivably be done by real people. Nothing seemed like you're saying there wasn't really wire food. People weren't flying like 10 stories or anything. There's very limited magic spells and stuff. So yeah, that was very appealing to have actual solid fights that felt visceral, yet they weren't shaky cam or anything. Nice.
Right.
Paul, was something about the way this was filmed, did that make you one of your likes or not so much?
No, that belongs on my other list. But one of the things that I found surprising was the plot twists that as the story kept going along, kept twisting and kept my interest in it. And even though some of it didn't make sense where the plot was going, at least it held my interest. Like I didn't know where it was going next. So I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Okay. Something that held my interest, and I was actually totally taken aback by, I'm like, really? They actually, it was the locations that they went to Thailand. There are so many beautiful, like, it was very clear. It wasn't like just some, I mean, obviously the CG in this wasn't that good. So it obviously wasn't CG'd. It was like on location in lots of places.
They weren't on those temples and the high stairs going up with those cardboard
Okay,
cutouts?
that was like miniature composites. But like the Shaolin, I imagine Shaolin Temple in Thailand, when that was such a beautiful shot of Liu Kang walking up and all the priests in red or monks in red and the pillars. I was like, wow, this looks so good.
Even like some of the fights, like at the beach scene.
Yes,
Like,
exactly. There's a lot of this on the location stuff looked fantastic. Some of the sets looked a bit chintzy, but the on location stuff I thought looked fantastic. So overall, I love the filming locations. Let's go back to Josh. What's something else you enjoyed?
All right. Second thing that I have here, I have it listed specifically as Techno Syndrome. One of the single greatest movie theme songs ever put to cinema.
Oh my goodness. It is so...
Like, to the point where...
about the Utah Sing.
Despite the fact that it has never appeared in a Mortal Kombat game, it has become synonymous with the franchise.
Yes.
Like, you cannot, even people that have never played the game or watched a movie, you mention Mortal Kombat, they know the song.
Yeah. It like went to platinum or something in like 2 weeks. It was ridiculous.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's the IMDb trivia I read. Yeah, it's just nuttos.
Wow.
Goro's nuttos. But yeah, that was on my like list too. I love the opening music. Tile gets you right into this, like really amped up to go, and the theme overall. Now the music throughout that wasn't the theme. I was like, that's all right. But it did its job, I suppose. But the theme was so like so good. Yes.
Nothing gets you pumped for a fight like that scream.
Yes.
Or even a movie. I love how it begins. The whole movie with the logo. It begins with Mortal Kombat, that scream.
Yes.
And then In fact, that's why it's my classic maker.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay.
I love how the movie begins with the song. Now, the song, I thought during the fight scene, it was kind of out of tone with the rest of the movies.
when it's Johnny, Sonya, and Liu Kang against the sort of the minions or something.
Like, I like the song, but it's kind of out of tone with the rest of it. But I'll tell you what, that song, as it ends and it ends the movie and begins the credits, boy, that is just like the best.
Yes.
And it pumps you up. It's
Yes.
like, oh,
It was,
so
Let's
good.
go. Exactly.
It was very close to being my classic maker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very close.
I think both songs, the Techno Syndrome and the Utah Sinks, take on the Mortal Kombat. There's two different songs there. One has the names in it, and the other has the movie quotes in it.
Oh,
so,
I was wondering. I remember thinking back that I thought there were two Mortal Kombat-ish songs, and one I liked over the other, and I couldn't remember what the other one was. So what's the?
I don't know. I love them both. They've been on my playlist since 1995. So
burn a hole in my iPod. What's the other one called? Utah Sanks?
Saints.
Utah Saints.
SANTS.
Oh, okay.
Take on Mortal Kombat. U.S. Saints take on the theme from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay.
Is the other
Okay,
one.
I'll have to look that one up. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go the classic makers now. Since
I'll go ahead and start off with my other like, since I just did the.
All right, that's fair, Paul. Fair. Go for it.
So my other like was just the main cast. I didn't expect to like the cast as much as I did, but by the end of the film, I was I was surprised how invested I was in these actors. I think they did a good job for what they had. But so I enjoyed the main cast, especially the main villain played by I'm sorry, I'm gonna get his name wrong. Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Wow, Paul. It's clearly that's not how it's pronounced. It's obviously Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa. Jeez.
Yeah. He comes across as like he's overacting, but he walks that fine line. I think,
feel he's just hamming it up in the right amount. I felt like.
Yeah, so, I thought he was great to watch as a character. Yeah.
You know what? You saying that reminds me of he felt very what's his name? Frank Laguina or something? Skeletor from Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
That same
Frank Langella.
Frank Langella, yes. Just that, like, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm just going to play it up and just have fun. Yeah, it felt like
exactly.
That.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Like, to me, most of the cast is really good. The only one I felt was a little
puppet guy.
off. No, was Sonya Blade.
Oh.
Like, acting-wise, she was great, but, like, her fight scenes were the least impressive to me.
Come on.
Because, there were points where it seemed like she was barely able to stay on her feet trying to do some of the moves.
Do we have to talk about this at this point?
I thought she did good. I mean, the guy was spitting all over her and stuff. So,
oh my gosh. Okay, well, all right. So the cast, and so you like the cast too, but was the cast your classic maker, Josh? If not, what was your classic maker?
No. My classic maker was the single greatest character to ever grace a fighting game, to ever grace a fighting movie, and which is, despite what a certain person said on Facebook earlier, Johnny Cage.
Oh, wow.
Bring it. Preach.
Johnny Cage in this movie was played to a perfect T.
Lyndon Ashby.
Yes, by Lyndon Ashby, exactly.
He, to me, every single joke he made hit. Like, he hit the exact characterization of this character, a character that is cocky, but still has, like, a heart, still will always do the right thing in the end.
Yeah. I that's my classic maker as well, Josh, is Johnny.
Is Johnny Cage?
Yeah. It's such a fun character, and he just seemed to truly enjoy what he is doing. Like, he, similar to Carrie, Hiroyuki Tagawa, he just was enjoying what he was doing, and maybe neither of them did. Maybe they both hated it, but they didn't come off at all in their performances. So I really enjoyed him, and I cannot get over the fun of when he's fighting Scorpion, explodes Scorpion, and in the explosion is the autograph, your greatest love, Johnny Cage, because that's one of the fatalities of Johnny Cage in the game, which is so great. That fan service is fantastic. I love it so much. Anyway, so all that being said, classic makers aside, you know, why don't we get into... I'm looking at my notes. I thought, I'm thinking in my head, we could go dislikes now or the trivial question, but no.
But no,
there's something else I liked.
Are you gonna make it go longer?
You might even say it's Untold, Paul.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the Untold
I'm wondering
podcast.
why you're gonna take so long to tell us. The Untold Podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is a speculative fiction podcast utilizing the genres of science fiction, fantasy, and horror, among others, in order to engage the culture's imagination from a Christian worldview. Every month, Nathan James Norman produces and narrates a news story presented in a unique and dynamic way. Check out the Untold Podcast at untoldpodcast.com to listen and leave them a review on Apple Podcasts.
That's actually very fitting. Now,
I think so
if this wasn't a video game, you mentioned the genres of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. That sounds like what this video game would be. Like, what genre? If it wasn't a video game genre, what would you say the genre of this movie is?
I think martial arts, because that tends to be a genre. But I wouldn't really say action. I'd say, like comedy horror, maybe. Something like that.
Okay.
I would say not so much horror, maybe thriller.
Or fantasy.
Fantasy, fantasy.
Fantasy, thriller, dark fantasy, thriller.
All right. So it lines right up with the Untold Podcast.
Exactly. And know what else?
Did they cover Mortal Kombat?
No, but the genres are spot on. And you know what else is spot on? How about some trivia about Mortal Kombat, the movie?
Okay.
I
don't know what that has to do with Untold Podcast, but yes.
I'm making a hard segue, okay? You don't have to call it out on me. I can't turn left. Did you all realize that Jean-Claude Van Damme turned down the role of Johnny Cage for this movie to do Street Fighter, which came out in 1994. The character in the game, Johnny Cage, was originally based on Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, so this is a two-part question. First of all, would you have preferred to have seen Jean-Claude as Johnny Cage in this?
I don't remember the first Street Fighter movie, but I remember he's like one of the, if not the main character. So I enjoyed.
He plays
that.
Guile.
Guile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but couldn't he have done both, or is that against contract?
I mean, if he could do both, would you have wanted to see him here? Okay. How about
Although I think the actor, like you said, Johnny, who played Johnny here, did good.
Yeah.
But it's almost like he could have fulfilled a destiny and he didn't.
Yeah, I could see that.
So this is where I'll probably make some enemies, but I'm definitely going to say I would not have wanted to see him as... because I am not a fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Of his splits or anything.
I don't know. I've just never found his fighting and stuff is interesting. He's a great fighter. His splits are very impressive.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I just am not a fan of him as an actor.
Okay, so he has the muscles. He's from Brussels. You need a little more.
I'm sort of with you, Josh. I don't think he would have been bad in this role, but I don't think he fits Johnny Cage,
the movie star.
Yeah, the movie star role as much. Now, if you were going to pick someone different, I think it would have been a fun. This is just silly, but I think it would have been fun if they cast William Zabka in the role of Johnny Cage.
What is he? Oh, Johnny
Lawrence.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
That could have.
Oh, is that your trivia question?
No, that's not. So that's just the first part. I was curious about what your thoughts on Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, because I would have loved to have seen Tom Cruise in that role.
Really?
Because he's a big movie star and he does action.
He does. That's a good point. He just doesn't seem like a martial artist very much. But
no, but this is the role he's playing.
Yeah, I guess that could have worked. I guess
that. Of course, it could have.
You know what, Paul? Whatever.
He could have learned how to do some martial arts for it.
Oh, that's interesting. Dale says Steven Seagal as Raiden. I could have seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, Nicolas Cage. You guys are saying? That's not a bad idea.
That would be interesting.
I could see that. Okay, well, I forget Lil Ronan and someone else.
Now I want to see that movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, gosh. All right. Here's the actual trivia question, though.
Mortal Kombat.
My question to you guys is, if an anime, so track with me. I'll just stick with me here.
Now we're into anime. Okay.
If an anime multiverse was made that resulted in a crossover of most every fighting game, like a movie version in anime form, because then you don't have to worry about actors necessarily.
Didn't they have that?
I don't know.
Like, is it called like Everybody versus Everybody, and they have like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and all those people?
I don't know, but this is strictly mainly fighting games as characters, not like anime main characters fighting each other. This is like you have your Mortal Kombat, you have your Street Fighter, you have your Killer Instinct, you have your Pit Fighter, you have whatever fighting games all sort of mashed together in an anime story and crossing over a la Avengers. So if that happened, let's say that movie existed.
Oh, there's a movie where they all combine.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Like the Avengers.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. So this has been building up. They all have their individual movies. You have the Mortal Kombat anime. You have the Street Fighter anime. Yeah, you have the Final Fight anime. You have all of them. And then
I thought you were talking about existing properties in anime. They all come together.
No.
Okay. So you're talking. Oh man.
Okay.
All right.
So you have that
somewhere. Now I have to. Yeah. Sorry. This is hard to follow.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay. So we have this anime that crosses over of all these fighting game animes coming together. And my question to you is, which fighting game character would you want to voice? You specifically want to voice for the English dub. So it could be Sub-Zero. It could be.
Do I even have to answer that? I think it should be obvious.
Yeah.
The real RKO Stunner.
Given what I said with my classic maker, I mean,
Johnny, you'd want to voice Johnny Cage?
Yeah, he's the best fighting game character ever.
What? No. Okay, now we're gonna come to blows here, Josh.
No.
Because
My
clearly,
favorite is Ryu or however you pronounce
okay,
it.
Paul, you and I can come to fisticuffs too. But
All right, or Donatello, because that's a good one.
There's another. Yeah, cross that over too. Everyone knows Ken from Street Fighter 2 is the best of the best.
Please. He's just a knockoff Ryu in red pajamas.
No. He has the flaming Dragon Punch Shoryuken. He is the best. You cannot go wrong with Ken.
Yeah, but
Dan or bust, they'll run. No.
He would
take
have
a basketball
to get
somewhere else.
close to Johnny first.
Oh.
All Johnny has to do is hit that shadow kick.
What? No, because Ken has the fireball, the not the Shoryuken, the Hadouken fireball, and he has the tornado kick. Yeah, Johnny's not gonna have any luck against Ken. And if you throw in Sabretooth from Killer Instinct in the mix, I mean, then all bets are off. Anyway, Baba would take Goro, really, or Chun-Li, either one. Okay, that's fair. But I think that, so I don't know if I would voice Ken, but you got me side railed. So, Josh, you would voice Johnny.
Caught me monologue.
Yes.
You would voice Johnny Cage. Paul, who would you voice?
I don't know. I'm trying to maybe someone like Goro, but somebody that's tough, somebody that's different. I would like to try like a deep voice, like someone big, like someone that has a big voice. Something like that.
Maybe something like E Honda or T-Hawk from Street Fighter.
Yeah, I was thinking that someone like T-Hawk or someone big like that.
Yeah.
King from Tekken.
Sure.
Oh, is that the guy with the lion head?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Or Leopard or...
Man, I forgot about Tekken and Soul Calibur. I don't know a lot of those character names, but yeah. And then there's
Guilty
And
Gear.
then when you put in Capcom versus the Marvel,
I know it gets crazy fast, but I want.
And then like who don't you include?
Yeah, good point. Awesome guys. So we have Johnny Cage and T-Hawk. Oh, interesting. Well, very cool. Thank you guys for answering that trivia question.
You're welcome. And great trivia, Francisco. And I have the answer to our previous audience question, which again, if you based a Mega Man boss on a villain, what would your villain name be? Bobo pulled off the fatality this time with his answer, Gary Oldman, or Gary Oldman. His attacks have great range, just like the actor.
But
So you can't. What I like to do in fighting bosses, go over clear to the other side of the edge and shoot him with my pew pew pistol. But that wouldn't work with Gary Oldman.
No, because he has great range. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So now here's this episode's listener question: which fighting game character would you want to voice in an anime fighting game multiverse?
Yeah, so send your answers to trivia@retrorewindpodcast.com by the time we record the next episode, which usually gives you a week and a couple days. Now, there's a possibility that this clip of this trivia is out on YouTube before our next episode, but don't bet on that. You can guarantee we'll be checking the email, though, so email it out, trivia@retrorewindpodcast.com. But now that we have all had some trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, our awesome rewinders, had about Mortal Kombat. Alex Ortiz says Goro getting murked for breaking $500 sunglasses. Exactly.
Andrew Simpson similarly quoted, "Those are $500 glasses, A ***, whole exclamation mark," says Johnny Cage.
Wow. Nathan James Norman says, I love Christopher Lambert. I know he's an odd actor, but you can tell he genuinely enjoys all the roles he plays. I remember after seeing this in my youth, I imagined he would be a good actor to portray one of the angels in my novel. Very cool.
Oh, cool. Ooh. Like to read that novel. Steve Hamilton says the production was flawless. Wigs, CGI, and dialogue, and then added a fatality gift.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if he was saying the wig, CGI, and dialogue needed a fatality, but regardless. Ricky Lambert says only recently saw it a few years ago. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jirori says white guy playing an Asian character. So 90s. I don't know which white guy he was talking about?
Well, Raiden
Probably
is
Christopher Lambert.
exactly.
Oh, I didn't think that counted since he was magical. But that's okay.
It's to be fair.
Yeah.
Raiden's an elder god. He can appear whatever race he wants.
That's
Yeah.
I never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't you watch darn it, there was a setup and I fell. What's that? Big Trouble in Little China? That's
Yes.
what I was gonna say.
Yes. We should cover that for Sci-Fries. Go vote it up, guys. Come on.
I was about to say it's on the voting list, so
is.
listeners have to vote on it.
Yep. RetroRewindPodcast.com/vote. Anyway, Stanley Wright says, waiting on Sub-Zero to show up.
Get over here. Wardell White says the opening music, Kari Haruyuki Tagawa as Shang Tsung, the first appearance of Scorpion and Sub-Zero, Christopher Lambert's Raiden, Trevor Goddard as Kano, and I had just seen that dude in a Dolph Lundgren flick, Men of War.
Oh, cool.
I know there's probably a whole lot of things not to like about the movie, but there was a whole lot to enjoy.
Yes.
The power of cheese.
That's pretty good. Saint Clarisuka says, fantastic movie.
David Bopke says, I am Liu Kang, descendant of Kung Lao. You killed my brother. Prepare to die. Okay, that's not in the movie, but it should have been. I remember my friend and I seeing it in the theater and thinking, finally, a good video game movie.
Okay.
If I was Raiden in that case, I would show myself on Earthrealm as a talking taco. Interesting little rodent.
Awesome, little rodent. Are you going to continue, Paul?
Oh, there's more to his.
That's all his, yes.
Bobke. All right.
So go from Nevermind.
Yeah. He David Bopke continues. Never mind that we said that about Super Mario Brothers 2 years prior. Nowadays, I think 1. Given the plot of the game, this is a pretty good adaptation. 2. Why can't Raiden buy this overpowered in
overpowered? Yeah, probably.
Why can't Raiden be this overpowered in the game? 3. Kari Haruki Tagawa is awesome.
Yes.
4. Possibly the greatest theme song in a movie ever.
Ever?
5.
Wow.
I want Goro's entrance music to be my entrance music. Every time. 5. Wait, I already said 5. 6. Needed more Shang Tsung morphing into other characters.
That would have been cool. I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah. Like a white dude. 7. I still want to know how this quote-unquote tournament is laid out. Looks like a bunch of random fights to me. 8. Special voice effects by Frank Welker.
Yep.
Always awesome. And the last one, he says, I'm just not a fan of Johnny Cage. A couple mildly amusing jokes, but mildly amusing jokes.
Come on.
Yeah. He goes on to say, but him and that tacked on bonding between he and Sonya, meh. But I'm sure there's plenty more things not to like about this movie.
I'll give you the whole him and Sonya thing, yeah, but the rest, no.
Good sir. I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion, Bobo, and you have every right to have it, but you're still wrong.
Dun, dun, dun. But Bobo did say, Josh, that he's sure there's plenty more things not to like about this movie. And, let's discuss some of those things right this second.
Worst 3.
With our worst 3 things. Gosh, Paul. I'm going to kick us off since we're kind of in the ballpark of this. Oh my gosh, it's been a while. And we alluded to this before, but I don't know what was going on. The actress who played Sonya Blade, Bridget Wilson Sampras now, but Bridget Wilson at the time.
Yeah.
She's just off in some way. Either she hated, I couldn't tell if she hated playing this role, or she just isn't a good actress, or the character is just poorly written. Something about
I'll go for door number 3.
All right, it may be. because she didn't seem like grounded in any way. She seemed like she was.
I think she tried her best, and like she tried to do the best of what she was given.
Okay, and that could very well be it. I don't know for sure. It's just something about her stood out to me like a sore thumb as just not really working.
Well, something about her stood out to me too.
That was something that I think was one thing, possibly the only thing that the sequel did better.
Oh, really?
Oh, is they recast her?
They recast Sonya Blade in the sequel, and I think that actress was better.
Oh, interesting.
Like to put it, as far as I can remember, the only two people that returned from this movie to the sequel were Liu Kang and Katana.
Didn't Christopher
Everyone
Lambert?
else was different.
Oh,
No.
oh, really? Oh, okay.
Everyone else was changed.
Shang Tsung returned in a different Mortal Kombat movie, one of those like straight to video ones, but he didn't return for the sequel.
Oh, interesting.
That's too bad.
Yeah, that is too bad. Okay, so yeah, she just did not work for me for whatever the reason it was. It didn't work. Especially
she doesn't
do it for me. Yeah, it didn't help that her. I don't know what the attack is in Mortal Kombat, but Sonya is supposed to like grab you with your legs, like she does like a handstand, grabs your head with her legs, and like chucks you across the screen. This was like a very pitiful. Oh, let me just like unbalance you down, Kano. I was like,
and then like
junk.
Yeah,
do a twist off camera.
Yeah, it just was not. I was expecting more. Even that would have been.
I guess a lot of people were expecting more from the video game.
You mean from this movie?
Yeah, no, from having seen the video game and then watching the movie, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Anyway, so that's something I didn't care for. Let's go to Josh next. What's something you didn't like about Mortal Kombat? Was it you didn't like Sonya before, but apparently other things made your dislike list?
Right. One of the things is Liu Kang's characterization.
Oh, really? You didn't like Robin Shu for him? Or how Robin Shu characterized him?
The actor did great. I don't like the way that the character was written.
Oh, okay, I could see that.
Because to me, Liu Kang in the games and stuff was always very loyal to Raiden.
Mm-hmm.
He did not question his destiny as a
his
protector
brother
of
was
Earthrealm.
the real Liu Kang, and then this guy comes along and tries to avenge him.
Yeah, that's what I think happened.
Okay.
They just switched their names or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Got it.
But yeah, it just because it felt like through the movie, up until the end when he finally was like, "Oh no, I am supposed to do this." It was like, I don't want to do this. Why am I here? Like, why am I supposed to do this? This is all fake. It's like, just it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I'm not someone who's super into the lore of the games, so that didn't really affect me much. I just sort of figured, oh, this is how Liu Kang was. So that, but if you are,
I'm not such into the lore either. I just thought that's how Sonya was.
I'm like, I'm waiting for something. I can't wait for whatever this is going to be. Oh, you're burning me. I see how this is. Paul, what's something you'd burn about this movie?
Okay, anyone who's actually put on a tournament knows that there's some organization involved. Like you have brackets and people and this quote unquote tournament is randomly taking place all throughout the island.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're on a beach and there's people watching. Sometimes you're just randomly walking through a forest and nobody's watching,
Right?
but apparently it still counts. Like, what is going on?
I don't get that either. It was very confusing for me, especially at the end. Well, okay, that's my tragic maker, so we'll just step right into it.
All right, we'll save that.
I was going to go into it, but okay.
Okay, then we won't. Let's hear it right now. Bring it on. Get it over here.
Here's the fatality. Yeah, exactly, Paul. When we get to the end and Shang Tsung has picked Sonya as the person he's going to fight, and then Johnny Cage and Katana and Liu Kang come and find him, then I think like Shang Tsung says, "No, I'm going to fight Johnny Cage," and then Liu Kang's no, I'm going to fight you. It's like, who gets okay? What rules are we following? Are just like, oh, I challenge you. No, okay, I challenge you. No, I challenge you.
It's
okay,
him.
then my way, because of the
He
script.
determines. Well, he's the one on the throne sitting the whole time.
Fine,
Well,
okay. Then he
so
should
he
fight
makes
Johnny
the
Cage.
rules.
Exactly. So then why does he like give in to Liu Kang and be like, okay, I guess I'll fight you since you called me out?
Because they're attacking his hubris, his cockiness, his pride.
See, this
It's
is
one of
why
those things-
This is why Palpatine fell, because he could.
That's why. It's not because Darth Vader threw him over the edge. It's because Shang Tsung or whoever challenged the wrong people.
He could have just killed Luke and been done with it, but no. I have to break his will, and he has to be my apprentice instead. No. I have to just keep attacking.
This is going. Look, I love Star Wars, but this is going in weird directions.
It's one of those things, though.
Anyway.
Rules of Mortal Kombat, even in the lore of the game, have always been up for debate.
Oh, okay.
It always feels like there's some new loophole, some new rule that's being like, oh, well, yeah, they could have done that the whole time.
Really?
I'm
Okay.
not
It's-
fighting
they
you with
do-
combat because
they
that
do
begins
state-
with a C.
They do state in this one that Shang Tsung, as a former champion, held the right to challenge anyone he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I get that.
But then the additional rule to that was the person had to accept the challenge.
yes,
Right.
I understand. So
So Liu Kang was the only one that would accept the challenge.
so
Like, everyone else was like, I don't want to fight you.
I kind of see
Yeah.
that. So he sort of like preempted Shang Tsung's challenge. Okay.
And then Shang Tsung was like, you know what? I think I can beat you too. So yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right. I guess that's fair. Still seemed really, really bonkers.
So that goes right into my second dislike,
go
is
for
that
it.
last fight between Shang Tsung and Liu Kang.
Mm.
So as they're, Liu Kang is going up the stairs, and all of a sudden these spikes start forming at the bottom, making it all dramatic as they
Yes.
start fighting. And then they start punching and throwing each other away from the spikes. And I'm like, the spikes are over there. The whole fight, I'm like, the spikes are over there. And they keep throwing each other away. Oh, it's like, come on. It's so
they got to
aggravating.
build the tension.
See,
Oh, I was tense already because of this stupid, like, oh, you know how to fight? No, you don't, because the spikes are over there.
see, I could see that Liu Kang may not have paid attention that was happening, and so wouldn't focus on getting Shang Tsung into the spikes. But Shang Tsung totally should have been doing that. Yes, because
Yeah.
he's obviously summoning the spikes.
He had to get his health bar low enough.
Okay, all right, Josh.
That's another thing I was missing. Like, it would be more interesting to see the health bar on these fighters. You know how much, how far they have to go.
fair. Wow. Let's see. Let's go back to Josh. What's something else that lowered your health bar in watching this movie?
All right, this is something special that me and one of my best friends have had multiple heated debates over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that I absolutely hate that Scorpion's kunai were coming out of his hands and were alive. Like,
'cause
they've
Well, they
always
wanted to
been
up the ante.
they've always been just regular kunai that he'll like shoot from his sleeve.
Mhm.
What's kunai? Is that a chain?
Yes, or the kunai is the knife at the end of the chain.
Okay.
It is a
It's a
kunai
knife.
on
Oh,
a chain.
Yeah, I've seen. Oh,
Yeah.
that's what they're called. Okay.
And in the game, it looks kind of like he's throwing a spear almost too, with like a rope attached. But yeah, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
So you didn't think the movie was just trying to up the ante, like make it a
I
little more
think they
special?
were. I think they were trying to be like, "Oh, this is cool and edgy." It did not
Yeah.
work for me.
Okay.
Oh, see.
I prefer it as being just a regular.
Yeah, kind of like the
Kunai.
CGI. Kind of doesn't work for me.
Was that your tragic maker, Paul? The CGI?
No,
Oh,
well,
okay.
sort of.
Okay.
It's a little bit. It's part of a bigger picture. Is my
All right.
Tragic.
That's fair. Well, let's go ahead and get into tragic makers right after I give you my last sort of base dislike, which was I felt like I almost fell asleep during this film. I didn't.
Ooh.
I was getting a little dozy though, mainly because I felt like the whole reptile, like once they get to Outworld, I feel like just get to Shang Tsung or Shang Tsung. Thank you. The whole reptile fight just seemed like padding, just a way because we need to show off Liu Kang's bicycle kickers. Bicycle kickers.
Wasn't that
You had to get the bicycle kick in
You
there.
could have done that with Xiao's
Shang Tsung.
that guy too. You could have done it with him and built up the tension with the spikes even more. So it's just like I felt like that whole thing with Reptile and Katana, just like you don't need it. I just get out of that. Just keep the action going, fast pace.
Oh, so the pacing of that
it
last
just
part.
really drops. And it's like, okay,
Because
cool.
I thought it was cool, the idea that he went into that statue and became like a fighting person.
Yeah.
And that could have been thrown in earlier in the movie.
Yes, exactly. It just slowed things down right there.
Yeah, instead of fighting like a bunch of hooded guys with no faces right in the middle of the movie, you could have had him come out.
There
or
you go.
something.
Okay, sure. I'll take that. Yeah, and then you have another fight that you'd get in the game. Yeah, that makes sense. Good point, Paul.
Yeah.
So that was my other dislike. So let's go to Josh. What was the thing you hated most about Mortal Kombat?
All right, my tragic maker
Go ahead.
is that you don't ever in this movie get to see the one fight every Mortal Kombat fan loves seeing.
Oh yeah. Let me.
Never-
Mario versus Luigi.
Well, that's the second one.
Okay.
But you never get to see Sub-Zero fighting Scorpion.
Scorpion. Yes, that's a good point.
Because they
yes.
went with this whole thing where Shang Tsung is controlling both of them.
Yeah, they're my
they're
minions.
working together, even though that makes absolutely no sense because of Scorpion's absolute hatred for Sub-Zero,
Mhm.
Yeah.
where it
He's
does
my
not
brother.
matter. But yeah, it would have been awesome to have seen them actually fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the Ken and Ryu of Street Fighter for Mortal Kombat, I guess I'd say. They're the two sort of opposing, or the yin and yang that you like seeing fight to see which one's better. Like, are you Team Scorpion, Team Sub-Zero? Even though I have Sub-Zero here in my background, because that's just the best picture I could find for the background, I'm Team Scorpion. I prefer Scorpion.
And I prefer Sub-Zero.
What did you? Come on, Josh.
Hey, I don't know what it is. I'm always partial to characters that have powers related to ice.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, then that's fair. If that's the norm for you across everything, that's fair.
very ice of you.
Oh my god! Oh wow!
Cool party.
Everybody, chill. Paul, I'm just out of curiosity. Do you care for one or the other, Scorpion or Sub-Zero?
No, I have no preference.
Okay.
One's yellow, one's blue.
All right. Very fair. Then, Paul, what was your tragic maker for Mortal Kombat? What deserved a fatality?
Oh, that's good. Well, all right. For my tragic maker is the production level of this movie is all over the place. It is almost literally
Ooh.
bonkers. You have these great, big, massive sets with these incredibly detailed statues. And then you have these lousy effects that just don't hold up with them. And you have, you have these, I don't know, these close-ups that look like you're on a fake set.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre because, you mentioned the humor earlier, which I thought was very intellectually, very well written. And I think the actors did a good job with what they had, but for me, it was just falling flat.
Oh.
And I would like actually to see this movie, this script, take the same actors, but give it a different director, give it a different director of photography, the camera guy. Someone like, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack on this, but you take someone like Zack Snyder and think of like 300. What he did with 300, but with this script and these actors, and I think you could have a really solid movie, or at least
I would
more
watch
of
that.
it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I call it the production level, because I think there's something off with it.
that seems almost like a director's vision issue.
Yeah, but just the way they frame things, the way, you know what I mean? Like, you can see where the money went, but you're like, but why does it look like a B movie? Why does it feel like a B movie? You know?
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like there are points where Goro looked really good.
Yes, Goro was
and then
very
there
hit or
are
miss.
Points where he just looked so fake.
Yes,
the Muppeteer was off that day.
Yeah, it's very strange. The I'm not making fun of the mental condition, but almost the bipolarness of it. Just so like big swings between looks like top tier movie versus like you said, this looks like a B movie. Like what's going on?
Yeah, even in the fighting scenes, which I thought was great because I don't know if the director or the cinematographer was. I think that's where they shone was those fight scenes. But even in the fight scenes, every single fight scene had one or a few where it looks like, oh, that person knew he was going to swing or kick and they were preparing for that. It was kind of like,
I can
like
see that.
most of the fight scene was good, but there were a couple moments where it's like, okay, they're still working on the choreography there or something.
Yeah.
It was just a little off, which was frustrating.
Yeah. I can totally get behind that, Paul. I have nothing to say to that except for now that we've entered all our trajectories into the firing computer, Alice, you have a firing solution for us.
Yes.
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
Alrighty, gents. Do we rate Mortal Kombat a classic? We'd recommend anyone go see this film, whether or not they've seen it before. I mean, you don't need to see the newest one. Just go see the old one because it's that good. Do we rate it a nostalgic? We'd recommend if you saw it as a kid or maybe you're just a fan of the game, then it's probably worth a watch. It's good in that regard. But if you've never seen it before, probably save your $1 to rent it or whatever. It's not worth your time to invest in watching it. Or do we rate it tragic? It's worth no one's time. Whether or not you've seen it before is irrelevant. Don't take the time to watch this movie because you will feel like you have wasted it. So let's begin with our guest, Josh. What you you predicted this would be a nostalgic movie. What was your final rating for Mortal Kombat?
I absolutely love this movie. You know, I will go back and I will watch it again and again. But I cannot rate it a classic. For the simple fact that I honestly believe if you are not already a fan of the movie, or if you are not a fan of Mortal Kombat in general, I don't think you would find enjoyment in this movie because
I could see that,
outside of the fandom of it, like if this was not a Mortal Kombat movie, if this was anything else, this is a bad movie.
Yes.
It is the fact that it's Mortal Kombat that absolutely saves it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So,
I could
with
get
all
behind that.
I have to rate this a very high nostalgic.
Okay. Yeah. I could see that. Paul, what would you have to rate it? With a nostalgic prediction.
With a nostalgic prediction, unfortunately, this it's too much of a B movie for me. I cannot in good conscience recommend it.
Okay.
If you do like it, it fits within that nostalgic definition that we have, that if you enjoyed it in the past, there's a good chance you would enjoy it before. But I cannot honestly recommend this movie, so I'm going to move it all the way back to tragic.
Oh, wow. Ooh. All right. Flawless. All right. I guess that's not a flawless victory because if we had like unanimous, it would be flawless, but no. All right. So nostalgic from Josh.
Unfortunately, this movie is flawed.
Tragic from Paul. Yes, it is. Flawed victory. For me, I had high aspirations. I predicted classic, but there was enough in this that just did not work. Whether it was Sonya's portrayal or the weird fighting or the quality of some of the effects, that I'd have to bump it down to nostalgic. It was definitely a fun rewatch. I enjoyed
I'm glad
a lot
I
of it.
saw it. Just, thank you so much, Josh, for choosing this and the timing of it with the new Mortal Kombat movie coming out.
It was all according to plan, even though I almost said the wrong movie.
Yes, just a little behind the curtain. Josh had said, "Hey, let's do Mortal Kombat Annihilation." Me and Paul were like, "Okay," but I was like, "Well, why don't you want to cover the first Mortal Kombat?" And Josh was like, "Oh, I thought you did that." No, we covered the game. And if you want to listen to our review of the game, that's retrorewindpodcast.com/108. And you can listen to me, Paul, and Kitos Ruiz discuss it.
So yeah, just know if I ever get this pick again, I'm picking Annihilation.
Oh my gosh. No.
Gotta complete it.
Do we though?
Hey, any chance I get to rip that movie apart.
Oh, there you go. All right. I've never seen it.
That's how you want to spend your
bad.
time. Okay.
Anyway. Well, all right. So according to the Retro Rewind podcast, we rate Mortal Kombat 1995 movie version a disputed nostalgic film. If you enjoyed it as a kid or young adult or whenever you saw it last, you'd probably it's a fair bet you'll probably enjoy it again. But if you've never seen it before, go watch maybe the new one or go watch a different movie altogether. But now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
20XX.
Comsat online. Receiving incoming transmission.
Feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1995 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keating, Patrick Hicks, LJ Lowry, Chris Cowan, Chris Owens, Geek Devotions, The Untold Podcasts, Mrs. Lomax, James Kennison, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Cronenbitter, Pastor Dustin, Kennethan, Redeemed Utaku, Ryan Lingle, That's Our Babo, Josh Adams, he's right here, D. Tungsten, Andy Lewis, Jeff, and Little Ronan, in addition to 4 other awesome patrons as well.
Retro Rewinders!
Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying for as little as $1 a month and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to help us grow via Patreon, Subscribestar, or PayPal.
Also,
this stream is sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
and while we're thanking our supporters, we also want to give a big fatality hug to Josh Adams.
There is like a friendship fatality thing, but
I don't know if I want a fatality hug.
Hey, go with the theme. You can't help it.
Hey, yeah, it's like a Presidente said. There is the friendship finish.
exactly.
Yes.
Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for supporting us with your thoughts on Mortal Kombat tonight and picking it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh Adams, where can people find you online? And is there anything cool that you got going on that people should know about?
Well, I mean, you can find me online at pretty much every social media thing as RKO
every
Stunner.
Social media thing.
Yes,
That's not a site, Paul.
At every social media thing.com. No, you can find me on pretty much every social media as RKO Stunner 619. As for things I got going on, it's not much has changed since the last time I was here.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Yeah, thank you again so much, Josh, for being on. And a hearty thanks to those of you listening for the first time, and of course, all of you who are a part of the Rad Rewinder community. You all who watch us live every week, whether we are recording this podcast or I'm playing retro games, are an amazing group of people helping sustain the pod. But if you are looking for ways to get involved in growing this Retro Rewind endeavor, reach out to us on social media, where we are at Retro Rewind Pod pretty much everywhere. Buy some of our merch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, become a monthly patron, or simply just share your favorite episode of the podcast with a friend so that more people can enjoy the content of the Retro Rewind Pod.
I have nothing further to teach you. You possess the knowledge. All that is lacking now is the will.
If you have been listening this far, congratulations. You've been listening to RetroRewindPodcast.com/225, our review of Mortal Kombat. In case you fell asleep, yes, we reviewed Mortal Kombat. With me, your exo, PaulJPowers.com. I don't know what I was going to say there, but PaulJPowers.com, where you can find all my social media links there. Stop by and say hi. And if you don't remember, then there's nothing I can do. Just PaulJPowers.com.
All right. Thank you for being an amazing friend, Paul, for being on another fun voyage to the island where we're going to fight for our lives. I mean, not do that. I have been and continue to be the captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz. Find me on Twitter at FXRetro_, especially if you need pixel artwork commissioned.
And we are honored to be part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com. Captain, we are on final approach to base, which I don't know where that is, but let's go for it.
It's just a secret. I'm the only one who knows, Paul.
Then how would I know that we're almost there?
The computer says almost to base.
Oh, okay. I hope they all belong to us.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, EXO, and thank you. Yes, you listening right now for listening. We pray you are more joyful now than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you all as we kick off anime with Howl's Moving Castle, our next episode of the Retro Rewind Podcast.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
Frollo, Li Shang, Maui, Hercules, Sebastian, Captain Hook, Elsa, Disney Combat!
Excellent. Flawless victory.